Welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast. This is where accounting professionals just like you learn all the ways to grow their firm, sharpen their skills, and have consistent increasing sales. I cover topics such as detaching from the emotional side of the sale, having paradigm shifts in the most important part of your business, which is the nucleus of your accounting firm, sales, and how to see an objection really as an asset and stop giving away your time for free for those that don't deserve it. So you can actually get paid your value and your worth and grow your top line revenue. You'll learn tips, sales strategies, as well as hear from personal interviews from successful accounting professionals. This podcast will show you exactly the blueprint on how to create the firm and life of your dreams full of abundance. Welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast. Today, we have a very special guest, and that special guest is Denise Mandeau, my partner in crime here at the Abundant Accountant. And before we welcome her to the show, I wanted to share, if you're an accounting, tax, or bookkeeping firm owner and you want to stop trading time for dollars, let go of overly demanding clients, and really get paid based on your value and worth while massively boosting your firm revenue, here's what I have for you. Here at the Abundant Accountant, we show you a system to fill your firm with ideal clients who value your time so you can catapult your firm to the next level and work the hours you want to work while still having plenty of free time for yourself and your family. Not only that, I'm also going to show you how to do all of this in a way that feels simple, effortless, and automatic. So if you want me to show you exactly how to do this, go to theabundantcall.com right now and book a call with me and my team. Once again, that's theabundantcall.com, and I look forward to speaking to some of you. But now let's welcome Denise Mandeau to the show. Welcome to the show, Denise.
Hey, Michelle, glad to be here.
I am glad to be here too and have us back together again. I know every time we put out an episode with the two of us, we get emails. When are you guys going to do another one? So we've been really busy, but I'm very excited to have my partner in crime on the East Coast joining us here on the Abundant Accountant. And for those newer listeners, Denise, can you share with everyone who you are and what you do?
Sure. So I am Denise Mandeau, Michelle's partner in crime, as she said. I'm here in New Jersey, and I have been an entrepreneur since I'm 20 years old. I've been in sales for I don't like to say, but 35 plus years, teaching others, and sold millions of dollars of products and services. And I love passing on that knowledge to especially accounting professionals, because this is an industry that we know that serves so many people with their to make sure that their businesses are up and running and they're not overpaying in taxes. And so if we can help people in this industry, then we can help so many more.
Love it. Well, glad that you're on the team and here. And today, we're going to talk about, I feel like a really important product.
Topic.
Oh, it's really been one of those days, everybody. A really important topic about your prospects who ghost you. When you send out a proposal or you give a quote and then you're wondering and waiting, and that anxiety inside of you and the stress and the overwhelm of like, we really need this client, but I haven't heard back from them. We're going to talk about the 3 biggest mistakes you're making when you send out a proposal or quote, and then also why prospects ghost you. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So make sure to have a pen and paper, because there is a way that doesn't have to be the problem for you anymore. And you can have certainty and clarity and never have to wonder. And today we were talking about it in our Abundant Millionaire Mastermind program, where this habit is just ingrained in you, and to really change it takes a lot of repetition and practice. So Denise, what do you feel is the biggest mistake that firm owners are making that are having the clients end up, or prospects ghost them?
Yeah. Well, I think that usually most people haven't been trained in this, It's just they think, oh, I'll get on the phone with someone or I'll meet with them and I'll spend all this time with them telling them how great I am and my services. And then you get to the end, and because they don't know how to ask for money
Yeah.
or ask somebody for a decision, they say, oh, I'll send you a proposal.
Hmm.
And then they lose control of the actual process. And then
Yep.
they're sitting and waiting and hoping and that, or believing that the person's actually going to get back to them.
And then when in reality, if you think about, if you're listening, how many proposals and quotes you've sent out and then never heard back from anybody. And I think the other biggest mistake too of why we do it is because, you're afraid of the outcome. And when our fear is leading the way versus you being in control, that's what happens. You just take the passive approach versus having the certainty and the clarity and understanding what that prospect in what direction they might or probably will be going.
Right. And when you say fear, Michelle,
Hmm.
usually that fear is of someone saying no. So you
Yeah.
won't hear the no if you send a proposal. You just won't get a yes or a no. You'll just
Yeah.
be left in proposal land, right?
Yeah, and no one likes proposal land. I mean, we hear this from our top clients that have been in sales training for quite a while with us, and it's still just a default way of operating your firm. And it's hurting your firm, it's hurting your clients, it's just hurting everyone all around because they're not being honest with you. You're wondering what's the next step, and then you never hear from them. So you're not going to even help this client to begin with. But I think the bigger thing is the stress and the anxiety that you feel as a firm owner, wondering, why did I just get ghosted? How come they couldn't tell me they didn't want to work with me? Why didn't they just tell me my fee was too expensive or whatever the issue or reason was? And I truly believe that when our fear is running the way and you take a passive approach, you're going to get a passive response. And ghosting is a form to me of a passive response of
Yeah.
someone not being upfront, not being honest, basically just telling you what you want to hear.
Well, there's that. And also, people get busy, they forget, or it
Yeah.
gets lost in their email, or, I mean, there could be a million reasons, but we've been doing this long enough to know that if somebody doesn't respond, they don't, first of all, they don't respond back. It's very rare. But secondly, it's just a waste of time and energy, and it's exhausting.
So, what would be the next big mistake as to why a firm owner would, or why people would ghost the firm owner that sent the proposal or the quote? I mean, the mistake is actually sending them the proposal or quote,
Right.
but it's also in my world and my way of thinking, Denise, and I'm sure for you, the biggest mistakes is that firm owners don't ask for the money. So
Correct.
because we don't ask for the payment, how do they want to engage our firm or even get a signed engagement letter or get a deposit? Because we're avoiding the ask, we say, "Oh, we'll send a proposal, we'll send a quote, and you can review it when you have time." Well, like Denise just said, people are busy. So how do you see that affecting the firm owners that really want to
Well,
help more people?
yeah, and it's also not just that. It's like you're doing a disservice. The second mistake is if you just send it out to them, you've just had a discussion with them, sometimes a very personal discussion about the problems that they're experiencing and why your services are their best solution. But then you're sending them off to figure it out themselves
Yeah.
instead of staying there with them, talking it through with them, finding out, like, all right, what are your biggest concerns? Like, let me answer all your questions. So
Hmm.
you're not actually serving them to help them make a decision, yes or no.
Right.
Then once it is a yes, or they've said yes to you, if it actually said it, then the next big mistake is that people go, oh, I'll send you the invoice. And then they wait for them to pay the invoice. or they wait for them to sign the engagement letter. That's and they think that that's the way that they should do it, right? How many times, Michelle, have we heard people say, "Oh, I sent them the engagement letter. I'm just waiting."
All the time. And we literally heard this today.
Yes, we did.
And our client knew she made a mistake, but also mentioned it's just the brain space that it takes up. Like, I'm just wondering when I'm going to hear from them. I'm wondering what the next step is. By not asking and not making the ask for either a payment or a signed engagement letter or something, you're creating this own chaos in your own brain and frustration that you don't need to have.
Yeah. It's emotional roller coaster that you're
It
on.
is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
When simply you
yeah,
could have it ready in advance or use one of our part, use a system like Ignition or Lisio and have it very simplified, right?
yeah,
That you could just send it to them while you're in the conversation with them
totally. And
quite
then
easily.
and then you can learn how to handle objections if they tell you I need more time, I need to review with my partner, or this is too expensive, whatever the case may be. You can then handle that. But you eliminate the wonder, you eliminate the stress, you eliminate the anxiety, and all this other stuff that we hear from so many firm owners that have us feeling burnt out and exhausted and wondering, why isn't my sales process working? And
Yeah.
this is a big part of it because I understand how challenging it is to ask for the investment. It's not a normal habit for you. And then you wonder why your health is on edge or you're feeling exhausted and stressed out from this whole process. And it all starts from that because without clients, you can't pay rent and you can't have your payroll paid and you're always relying on that top line revenue. So the mistake of not asking for the payment up front and getting the signed engagement letter and using something like Ignition to support you through that process is a real serious problem in your process, in your sales process, in your firm.
Yeah.
And
I just would ask the listeners to, while they're taking notes, to kind of jot down how many proposals have you sent out? How many dollars have you left on the table, even in the last month, from people who have ghosted you that you thought were going to engage with you?
yeah, and how many people have you sent out a proposal that actually signed it versus that are sitting out there in proposal land currently?
Yeah. It's heartbreaking. I feel heartbroken right now just talking about it.
I know every time we hear it, we're like, oh no, what happened? And the reason why is that we want you to serve your clients and get the prospects to say yes to you. But we have to avoid these mistakes because these mistakes only hurt you as the firm owner and your prospects sitting in front of you that I bet you can help.
So,
Denise, what's the other big mistake that you've seen on why firm owners get ghosted by their clients or prospects?
let's see. What's another one? It's I think because they just really are winging it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the other big mistake is even if they do send it out, if they're going to do it that way, they need to schedule the next meeting so the client understands what's expected of them. And they don't do that, right? So if they think they're going to follow up, but they don't even have a follow-up system in place. So it's just dangling out there. And that's energy that's just being drained, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you may have somebody that needs some time to think about it or wants to, maybe they're a visual person and they want to see something, right? If you can't do it right then and there, schedule the next meeting to go over it with them. Don't
Always.
send it out. Go over it with them.
Yeah. You definitely always want to have the next meeting scheduled right then and there. And even if they needed to see your proposal, engagement letter, quote, whatever you want to call it, if you don't have the meeting set at the time you just met with them or had the call with them, You're doing them a disservice and you're not in control of the conversation anymore. By you not setting up that follow-up meeting, I always have this rule of thumb. If you're going to talk to somebody, always have the next step solidified before you hang up with them. And I do it all the time with people I have as guests on the podcast, or most recently, I did a webinar and then we're going to have a Q&A podcast episode about the questions from the webinar. With that person who I worked with, we had it all scheduled out. I don't want to waste my time going back and forth. So I invite each of you to think about and write down, how many hours do you waste in your head going, oh my gosh, I should have followed up with ABC company. And instead of having that extra brain space used up and your external drive feeling like it's maxed out and about to blow up, if you just schedule all of the follow-ups in advance, and if you send a quote or a proposal and you're still going to do that method, even though it's not the one we recommend, schedule the follow-up to review the quote and proposal with that prospect. You will have a much different result at the end of the day. And I think that's, yeah, go for it.
And Michelle, don't just go over that with them then and there. Ask them to engage with you. That's the most important thing. Because here's the thing. If you don't ask, it's 100%
a no.
No, right? But if you ask, at least you got a 50% chance that there'll be a yes, right?
Yes, that is very true. That is so true.
Yeah.
And I think we don't ask because we're scared about what might happen. They might say no. They might reject us. They might tell us we're too expensive. But in reality, if we don't ask, we don't know. And what our clients have seen here at the Abundant Accountant is when they ask, big changes happen. They have really full bank accounts and they've seen massive shifts. And they have so many clients that they love working with, and they've got rid of all their low paying clients.
And it's more fun.
Yeah.
It's more fun. You know, we worry, I think people tend to worry about the no's, but then they don't get, then they don't focus their brain on the yeses. So they get less yeses because they're focusing on the no's. Yeah. That's just a mindset thing, right?
It is.
It's like looking in the rear view mirror instead of looking at what's in front of you.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, usually if you're just focused on the rear view mirror, it doesn't turn out real well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love that. And, you know, these are all the mistakes that a lot of firm owners have that we're making, which is resulting in prospects ghosting us. So I want to turn it around and give you, and we talked about it a little bit already, but Denise, what do you feel would be the best approach for someone who has a prospect where they are like, I am done being ghosted. I never want this to happen again. What do I need to do?
Well, I think we kind of did touch on it, right? The first thing is be prepared before your meeting. Know what you're going to offer. Be prepared. Have your either your proposal. We don't obviously recommend proposals. We represent engagement letters, because an engagement letter you can sign and move forward and actually engage, right? But to have it ready ahead of time, have an idea, know what you want to be paid, and be ready for that. Maybe even have a couple options laid out, right?
Yep.
And then go over it with them, offer to go over it with them in your meeting so you can answer any questions that they may have about it. And if there's no questions, say, all right, let's move forward. Let's sign this. Let's get a deposit, or let's take your payment. How do you want to handle that? Visa, MasterCard, ACH. Then you're done. Imagine how wonderful that feels.
It is. And then you don't have the wonder, you don't have the unknown. And I think that's the biggest thing, is how do we clear our headspace from all of the wonder and all of the unknown that exists in your current sales process? Because those are the things that are holding us back. Those are the things that frustrate us. And when we're frustrated, we can't serve our clients at a really high level.
Yeah. So we've got to clear out the past and the
Mm-hmm.
belief, right, that it's easier for us to just send something and wait because it's not easy.
It's
It's not
definitely, it's
easy.
creating more work. But I think
It's
doing
creating
the
more work.
analysis that Denise recommended is how many proposals have you sent out or quotes? How much money have you left on the table? Another thing is to calculate a conversion metric. If I sent out 100 proposals and I only had 5 people accept, that's a really horrific conversion percentage. So
Yeah. And
looking at
even,
your actual numbers, look in whatever system you have, how many were sent and how many engaged, and did you even ask for the amount you wanted? Or did you lowball your price just to try to see if then they would accept your proposal? That's another thing you could explore and look at.
yeah, that's another big mistake, right? Or giving them a discount
Oh yeah.
to say yes now. Yeah, that doesn't work real well.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, and it's not just, then you got to calculate in not just how much you could have made, right? If you had asked and they said, yeah, yes, but how much did it cost you to acquire that potential lead? If you're spending money on marketing, you know,
Yeah.
how much time, or you're not spending money on marketing, how much time did you spend, did you invest in networking or building relationships with referral partners? There's all costs involved in that. So is it more painful to just ask, or if you look at how much it's really costing you, which is more painful, right?
Well, you have to look at it for yourself.
Yeah.
Does the passive approach serve you and serve your prospects, or is it driving you crazy? And that's up to you to figure out. We can't do that for you, but we can definitely tell you what to look at. And I would look at how many proposals you sent, how much money you've left on the table by lowballing your prices in hopes that they would actually sign them, and then how many were engaged versus just lost in proposal land.
Yeah.
Yeah. Denise, is there anything else that you want to add today that maybe we didn't talk about yet to help firm owners understand why prospects ghost firm owners when they send out proposals?
Yeah, I think just understanding for yourself and thinking about for yourself your own beliefs, like why why you are afraid to just ask right then and there, right? Ask somebody to say yes to you
Mm-hmm.
and kind of look inside and see, all right, well, is it really true if I ask that it's scary? Maybe it's not so scary. And what would feel better for you? To get a yes or even a no right then and there and then move on, right? Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
that's the best thing to do is to say thank you for being honest
Yeah,
and then let go. Move on to the next one.
yeah, so true. Well, thank you so much for taking out the time to be here today, Denise. It's always an honor to have conversations. And, if you are a firm owner and you're listening and you're completely overwhelmed with the amount of proposals you've sent out and no one's responded or very little, and you're sick of being stressed out and anxious all the times and wondering, and you want to stop trading your time for dollars and let go of overly demanding clients and actually get paid based on your value and worth and boost your revenue, here's what I have for you. Here at the Abundant Accountant, Denise and I show you a system to fill your firm with ideal clients who not only value your time, so you can catapult your firm to the next level, but also figure out what hours you want to work and do what you want to do while still having plenty of free time each week for yourself and your family. And not only that, we show you how to do all of this in a way that feels simple, effortless, and automatic, giving you the confidence to learn how to ask for the sale and ask for the payment right when you meet someone so you never send a proposal again. And if you want us to show you exactly how to do this, go to theabundantcall.com right now and book a call with myself. Yeah, I said that. Myself, Denise, or another team member of ours right now. So once again, go to theabundantcall.com to book a call with me and my team. And Denise and I look forward to speaking to some of you soon. But thank you so much for being here and have a wonderful day.